Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match preview for Fulham versus Manchester United. I don't really want to do it, to be honest, but we've got some things to talk about. Let's get right into it. Thanks for joining, guys. Please smash a like on the video, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and turn on that bell notification. We're going to start off with Ten Hag tactics. Now, we've seen over the last few games, we've seen throughout the entirety of the season now, we're just not been good enough. There's been a massive drop-off in form by Manchester United. And if I'm being completely honest with you, this has probably been going on since maybe February, March time, since we won the Carabao Cup. We've been dipping in form, and we've never really got that form back. Ten Hag has to take some criticism over the last few games. Now, look, obviously the Manchester City game is the main standout where he got a lot of things wrong. I don't think he got an awful lot wrong against Newcastle the other night. I think that was just down to the players more so than anything else. But we're going back into a very competitive game in the Premier League, and one where we need to pick up 3 points. He has to get his tactics right. He has to get his team selection right. Does he go back to playing the way he played at Ajax, playing out from the back? We've bought Onana as a ball-playing goalkeeper. We don't seem to be playing out from the back. It seems to be because Eric Ten Hag thinks we don't have the players to do that. We tend to play a lot more direct. We've seen some of the stats from Onana. He tends to go long more than he does short with his kickouts. I don't know. I think maybe Ten Hag just needs to go back to what he knows best, what got him the Manchester United job in the first place, and that's build-up play. It's possession-based football. It's playing out from the back, not necessarily this, quick, long ball game that we play, kind of cater to the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, who likes to get in behind. Bruno Fernandes is not, a slow build-up type of player. He likes to get on the ball. He likes to try and make things happen quickly. And it doesn't seem to be working. So maybe Ten Hag has to go back to basics and back to what he knows best. Because, if he's going to eventually lose his job, he might as well do it by playing the way he knows how to play. And if that doesn't work, okay, that's no problem. But yeah, team selection is another one. Obviously, we were calling for a lot of changes on the back of the Manchester City game. And we got them changes in the Newcastle game and the Carabao Cup on midweek, and it didn't make any bit of difference. The likes of Hannibal came in, probably should have got sent off. Martial came in up front. We're still playing Martial 8 years later up front, and he's not good enough. I think he scored less than 90 goals in 8 years. It's just atrocious. Varane seems to be missing for some reason. Illness. This seems to be a regular team with Manchester United where Ten Hag says players are ill. I don't know why players are getting ill. Maybe it's because Varane wasn't happy he didn't play in Man City and then he wasn't in the squad for Newcastle. I don't know. A lot of decisions need to be made, and they need to be made correctly by Ten Hag on the weekend, or else he's going to lose his job. And I think players need to stand up and be counted for as well, because they've been a disgrace over the last few games. They really have. Throughout the entirety of this season so far, to be quite honest with you, only one or two players can actually genuinely hold their hand up and say that, they're doing their best. Yeah, because if they don't, we're not going to get anything from this game on the weekend either. Now, next up, we need to take our chances. We just need to take our chances. We're not creating an awful lot. We haven't created an awful lot over the last 12 to 18 months. We've seen last season, I've said this an awful lot, that Marcus Rashford was the main reason why we got to top 4 with his 30 goals. Outside of that, we were very poor in terms of our goal difference, in terms of goals scored, and we had a very successful season last year on the back of a very strong defence. That defence hasn't been strong this year, and we continue to not score goals. For that reason, when the chances rear their heads, we need to take them, because there's not going to be an awful lot of them. History will tell you over the last couple of years with Manchester United that we don't create an awful lot. So when the chances do arise, we have to take them. We haven't done that so far this season. And that's the main reason why we haven't been winning games. Now, it's one of a number of reasons. But if you don't score goals, you don't win games. It's as simple as that. We need to take our chances when they arise, when they fall to us. You know, Rasmus Højlund has come into this team as a 20-year-old and he's been burdened with the task of being the main man at such a young age. And it's not right. It's not right. But we've got no other options. Anthony Martial is clearly not good enough. I'm sick of him. I think he should have been gone 4 years ago. But we can't get rid of him because we give him stupid money. Similarly, Harry Maguire. Similarly, Scott McTominay. And the list goes on. We need to take our chances when they fall to us on the weekend, or we're not going to get anything out of this game. Now, let's talk about starting 11. And this is the starting 11 that I want to see. Not necessarily the one that I think Erik ten Hag will go with. But we've got some pretty glaring, I suppose, changes that need to be made, in my opinion, first and foremost. So I'll put my team up on the screen and we'll go through it. Obviously, Onana stays in goal. I think he's turned a corner in terms of his United career. He had a bit of a wobbly start, but I think he's putting in some good performances. Back four, Wan-Bissaka has to come in at right back for me. Delors was absolutely atrocious against Newcastle on the weekend, or midweek, sorry. And it, you know, all desire, all heart, but no real quality from Delors. This goes back to Erik ten Hag wanting a right back from the second he walked into the football club, and he still hasn't got one. So I'm going with Wan-Bissaka there. Left back, Reguilon has to come in at left back. You know, we've seen Lindelof play there for some reason against Man City. I don't know why. We need to get our left backs back playing in proper positions. Centre back partnership, then I'm going Lindelof and Varane. I know Lindelof had a poor game against Man City, but he was playing as a fullback. Harry Maguire slipped into some of his old habits against Newcastle on midweek as well. I've enough of Harry Maguire. You know, he can have a couple of good games and we'll praise him, absolutely. But, you know, long term, let's just part ways as soon as we can and get someone in, you know, that's a much better player. And Varane has to come back in. You know, he was obviously out of the squad, didn't play against Man City. Then we were told that he was ill against Newcastle. So if it's just an illness, then he should be okay to come back in. So I'm going to go with Varane. Midfield three, it has to be Casemiro, Amrabat and Bruno for me. It just has to. Now Mason Mount, I thought he tried really hard against Newcastle. He was always showing for the ball and he put in a good shift. But I want to see legs in midfield. And I think Amrabat does give us that. If we can have Amrabat playing a box-to-box role with Casemiro sitting, it will allow and free up Bruno Fernandes to be more creative in forward positions. I think this has to be our midfield, and I think the sooner we play these three consistently over a run of games, I think we'll see an improvement in midfield. And it has to start this weekend against Fulham. So that's the reason why I want them three there. Top front three then. Garnacho on the right. I'm sick to death of Anthony. I think it's time that he just gets taken out of the team until we see some vast improvements from him. Erik ten Hag cannot have any more loyalty towards him. He's absolutely useless. So for that reason, Garnacho comes in on the right. Now, Garnacho didn't have a great game by any means against Newcastle on the weekend, but he gives you an attacking threat where Garnacho or where Anthony doesn't. I think Rashford will come back in on the left-hand side. Whether, you know, you could switch Rashford onto the right with Garnacho on the left either, I don't mind. And then obviously Rasmus Højlund up front. It gives us a lot of pace up front and it gives us youth by playing them three players together. Anthony slows the game down too much. I think Rashford's decision making still has to improve, but he's in there on his name alone more than anything. But his performances don't really justify it. Do you bring Garnacho onto the left and maybe bring in Pellistri? That's another option there. But we do know Pellistri lacks. He lacks a bit of experience more than anything else. But I do think this starting 11 is more than good enough to get 3 points against Fulham on the weekend. Craven Cottage is never an easy place to go. It's tight. It's the crowd is on top of you. You know, you have to show a bit of desire and a bit of balls about you more than anything else. But let me know your starting 11, guys. Do you think you would change anything from this? Do you think it'll go anywhere else? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, score prediction. Score prediction is just pretty much impossible to predict for Manchester United this season. I don't think I've got one right so far. I've said it on numerous occasions. I'm always going to back Manchester United with my score predictions, regardless of how good or bad we're playing. Now, look, saner heads have to prevail for the likes of Man City, and I predicted a 2-1 win for them. You know, it could have been a cricket score. But going into this game against Fulham, I mean, this squad, this team are better than they're shown on the pitch. They're not a great team. There's a lot of players that really shouldn't and aren't good enough for Manchester United, but we should have enough to get the job done. I know I say it every week. I'm going with a 1-0 win to Manchester United. What's that based on? Nothing really, other than sheer loyalty towards my club, but not this team. So yeah, 1-0 win, score prediction to Manchester United. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. We will be doing a watch along for the game, guys. We'll be live from 12 o'clock on Saturday, so make sure you're tuning in for that as well. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification as well, so you will get notified anytime we do go live or anytime we've got a new piece of content out. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you for the game on Saturday. Take care.